Hey everyone, Healthy Dad here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make the sourdough cast iron pizza recipe that my family loves. There are a few reasons why this is the best pizza out there. It really is incomparable to anything you've probably ever had before. Number one is we're using freshly ground ancient grains. This is Einkorn in this case that we're using. It's super low in gluten, it's highly digestible, and it will not back you up at all. It's a perfect recipe for anybody who's sensitive to gluten or any of your kiddos that you want to raise on super healthy food. Additionally, we are using freshly shredded mozzarella and cheddar cheeses. We never buy the stuff in the store that's pre-shredded because that's covered, as you may know, in cellulose or some version of like a sawdust type powder that's going to mess up how the cheese melts and kind of deteriorate the gooiness of the cheese and just make an overall not as healthy version of a pizza. So we are the Healthy Dad channel here. That's why we're making the healthiest pizza possible, but it still tastes great, I promise you. Another thing, there's gonna be a clip where you see where we get some of our shredded cheese from. The Family Cow, I wanna give a shout out. They are a fantastic family-owned operation in Pennsylvania. They're a family farm. Everything from top to bottom is all pastured, grass-fed and organic and as clean as possible, and I highly recommend that you check out their website, which the link will be in the description below. So let's get right to the recipe. I'm going to show you exactly how to make this fantastic pizza. It could not be easier, and you will be super pleased when you give it a try. So here we go with our Einkorn sourdough cast iron amazing pizza recipe. First thing we're going to do is feed our sourdough starter the night before. Just want to get it nice and activated and bubbly for our recipe to help our dough rise. I do about a half cup flour, half cup water, more or less, when I do a feeding. And the next morning we want to grind our flour. So we're going to take 2 cups of Einkorn wheat berries or whatever wheat you like. I recommend ancient grain because it's lower in gluten and much healthier for you. Here's a shot of our nice bubbly sourdough starter ready to go. We're going to add about a cup of that to the bowl of a mixer and about a cup of water. These are not exact measurements. You just kind of do about, and it's good enough. This is a simple, informal family recipe that you'll make all the time, so there's no need to measure. Just kind of eyeball it. We're going to whisk it up, and then we're going to dump all of the freshly ground flour into the sourdough mixture. Add about a tablespoon of cane sugar and a teaspoon of sea salt, and mix that up to form a kind of a shaggy dough. You may need to add a little bit of water here depending on the consistency that you get. And then we're going to transfer it for a couple minutes to the mixer that you have. You can always do this by hand, it's up to you. And once we get a rough ball, we'll form it and coat it with a little bit of olive oil. And we're going to cover that for the rest of the day until we're ready to use it in the evening. Usually about 6 to 8 hours is ideal. And your dough would have doubled in size roughly, and it's gotten a little bit sour and fermenty, which is excellent. We're going to punch that down, bring it back to a small dough ball, toss some flour on there, and then we're going to knead it for just a few minutes. We want to get that right consistency and just check and make sure it's not too soupy or too liquidy. Add flour as needed at this point. And we're going to transfer and go ahead and knead it a little bit extra in our mixer for a minute or two. Then sprinkle some flour and divide that dough ball, because this is going to be enough for 2 pizzas in this recipe, which is usually about the right amount for a family of 4, which we happen to have. So we're going to butter our skillet. That's a 10 or 11-inch skillet, roughly that size. Push the dough down to get a nice even consistency throughout, and then we're going to use a dough docker to prevent bubbles from forming. Moving right along, the Rouse pizza sauce is my favorite. It's absolutely an excellent quality pizza sauce. And we're using freshly shredded mozzarella. As I mentioned before, this is the cheddar that's shredded from the Family Cow family farm. You can order that from their website anytime. We're going to bake it 425 for 17 to 20 minutes. And this is the final product. It's an absolutely gorgeous pizza that your family will love. It's so easy to make. There's no tossing, there's no rolling, there's no stressing. We're just pushing the dough down. We're dough docking it. You can use a fork if you don't have a dough docker. That's what that red thing is called. We're spreading out some more cheese. This one we're going with pepperoni. We got some organic pepperoni from the market. Then we're going to top it off with our cheddar. Sprinkle some salt, sprinkle some Parmesan if you want. We're going to bake again at 425, 17 to 20 minutes, maybe a couple extra minutes for the pepperoni. And there you have it. A beautiful Einkorn sourdough cast iron perfect pizza. It's absolutely delicious, and I highly recommend you try it. Can't wait to hear what your thoughts are.